4 things I know are true. If I'm the New England Patriots, I'm at least taking an early flyer on Maurice Clarett. If I'm Kurt Warner, I'm praying the Rams deal me. If I had a chance to play one golf course in the world, it would be Bushwood, and I'm Tony Reality. There's a pool and a pond. The pond will be better for you, Woody.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reality.
Welcome back to the show where if you give us 22 minutes, we'll give you 3 commercial breaks. We're talking about the Broncos paying Clinton Portis, the Rockets trading Steve Francis, and ESPN saying no to Playmakers. All this with our national panel. Check them out at the Denver Post. It's Woody, Paige. What's up, Paige? I don't even know what you're doing there. I'm muting it anyway.
Impression of you?
Forget it. At the Dallas Morning News, it's Texas Tim Cowlishaw.
Are you staying all week?
Yeah, I'll be here all the week. At the Chicago Sun-Times, it's Jay Mariotti.
Who's your prom date, Tony?
I don't even know. I skipped the prom, actually. Yeah. And at the Boston Globe, it's Michael Holley. Hello, Michael.
Are you a prime suspect in the disappearance of Kellerman?
I'm one of the usual suspects. We got to round up the usual suspects. We are the show that scores the argument, scoring way up lately. Say hello to the mute button, all right? Check it out. I judge these guys on point of view, style, and information. Good answers get 2 points. Great ones get 3 points. And I use the mute button here to penalize and direct traffic. Then, in the end, we eliminate guys, so a one-on-one showdown will determine the winner. Get it? Got it good? Let's light this candle.
It's the first word.
How about the first word is eligible? In what may become a landmark ruling, a federal court in New York decided this morning that Maurice Clarett, the estranged Ohio State running back whose name was connected Wednesday to a benefactor who's a known gambler, must be eligible for the NFL draft despite the fact Clarett is only 2 years out of high school. The NFL has announced that it will appeal the decision. Boys, assuming today's ruling stands, would you draft Maurice Clarett, Woody, Paige, around the horn?
Well, first of all, the ruling will stand. It stood in 1971 in the U.S. Supreme Court when Spencer Haywood challenged the NBA. So we know it's going to stand up. There's a team that has 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, 13 overall. The New England Patriots should go after Clarett with number 21 and number 32. He's a perfect running back, young running back to fit into that system. I think it's a great decision.
Well, Woody, you were in Houston, right? I mean, Bill Belichick, the straight arrow, is going to draft Maurice Clarett. You got to be kidding me. No chance of going to New England. And you know what? If I'm an NFL team, I don't draft this guy. He's had this trail of trouble. Now there's this connection with this gambler. And don't tell me that's about college football. These are serious issues in the NFL. Character is very serious. You spend thousands of dollars a year on security issues, character issues, spying these people, making sure they come up.
All right, we get the point. Tim, what's going to be a bigger issue, this character or his injuries? Would you draft him?
You draft him because he can play. Jay, do you ever look at the arrest records of some of the guys that get drafted in the NFL? I mean, this guy's had issues, but they're related to college eligibility. They're not related to whether he can play in the pros, and he can play. I mean, it's going to be a tough call because we haven't seen him a lot. But the only team that can take him in the first round, Woody's right, is New England because they've got the surplus of picks. They can afford to take a flyer.
Holley, are your Pats going to take him?
Are you kidding? Look, the Patriots didn't have any distractions during the 2003 season. That's their mantra. Yeah, Bill Belichick is not going to take this guy. As a matter of fact, the Patriots may never draft another player from the Ohio State University after what happened with Terry Glenn. Another issue with Maurice Clarett, he's got to show that he can handle the business of football. That's why I think he should have gone back to school. My allegiance to Ohio State has nothing to do with it. And yet another issue, he had a shoulder injury in college, which shows that he is not ready to deal with the demands of the big boy.
Okay, we got you. He might be vulnerable. Woody, go.
Well, there are a few issues here. A running back has a short career. How about McGahee going back? Was that a mistake as it turned out? Secondly, there was...
Well, McGahee never had the big year until he got hurt there. Woody, Mariotti, go.
I can't believe Cowlishaw thinks that gambling issues don't have an effect in the National Football League. I don't want to draft a guy who has a connection with some gambling guy. Tim, you're wrong.
There's no evidence that he did any gambling. There's no...
Hold on a second,
We're not talking about a major felony here. Give him a chance.
Cowlishaw, last word.
There's no evidence that he did any gambling. And Michael's point about New England, that's the perfect place for him. Maurice Clarett couldn't screw up there. He would have to
I think the Patriots, they can take that pick. They just won the Super Bowl. They have plenty of picks, and the running game is questionable. The bigger question here, though, are the floodgates open now for high school students to go pro, and are high school seniors ready for the NFL? That's something that's going to develop over the next few months and years. Let's move on. In a speech before a religious group on Sunday, Kurt Warner said that the Rams coaches told him that his frequent Bible study took away from his play. He also implied that he was benched in part for being so religious. Mike Martz called Warner's claim a bald-faced lie and said he was tired of dealing with this type of behavior, but added that he wouldn't trade the two-time NFL MVP. So guys, what's your reaction to the latest verse in the unholy QB controversy in St. Louis? Around the horn, Mariotti.
It's just one big soap opera. It never ends. Tony, I think he needs a change of scenery. It's going to be difficult to pull that off. They're going to have to take a big cap hit in St. Louis. But come on here. You've got two basically #1 quarterbacks. Kurt Warner is not a happy man. Maybe he's even trying to design a trade here. Mike Martz, his job is in jeopardy. He cannot afford to have another quarterback controversy muddle up his 2004 season, or he'll be gone.
Mariotti, I don't think religious issues are the issue. Remember 1999 NFC Championship game, the Burt Emanuel game? After the Rams win that game, Kurt Warner says, "Thank you, Jesus,"
I knew it was coming.
Out loud. 1999, they win the Super Bowl with him. He's the same guy. The bigger issue is, which quarterback do you choose? If you trade Warner, you got to take that cap hit. If you stick with Mark Boller, you obviously don't have confidence in him, because if you did, you would have allowed him to win that game against the Panthers, and they didn't. They should have been in the Super Bowl last year.
Fair point.
Have you guys ever been in locker rooms? What they basically have are girly magazines. What's wrong with the guy reading the good book? For they receive the word with all eagerness, examining the scriptures, seeing if they are so. Here's the point. He should go to Dallas or Oakland, be given a new chance. He's the kind of guy that could help turn those franchises into major winners again.
No, he's not. Kurt Warner is untradeable right now. Look, it's not just because of the salary cap. No one has seen him throw a pass since October. This guy has a serious thumb injury. You think with all those bad games Bolger had at the end of the year, there's not a reason Kurt Warner didn't go into the games? He can't throw right now. Nobody's going to trade for that.
Well, Woody, you were wrong here. Bible issues do divide teams, because the Bible guys want to recruit other guys, and suddenly you have a division in the locker room. You don't go to any of them.
All right, wait, Holley, reply to that.
Well, the question is, why didn't it divide the 1999 Rams? This team won the Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl win over the Titans. Why didn't it divide that?
Because it's 2004 now. That's 5 years ago.
Mariotti, you're going to hell, and we know that Warner's trying to rage his own
Okay, I mean, you can't say something like that. Here's what I think actually happened. I think Kurt Warner said this to try to get traded, to make himself tradable.
You're right.
Maybe he goes to Dallas, maybe he goes somewhere else. We'll find that one out soon, too. Guys, stick around. Buy or sell. Coming your way.
Coming up, Clinton Portis is awesome, and he's still making second-round money. Should the Broncos just pay the man? Plus, what will our panelists say about the decision not to bring Playmakers back for another round? The horn! Buy or sell?
What do you say we buy or sell? Leading off, Broncos running back Clinton Portis is scheduled to make $380,000 in 2004, and he's not happy about it. The Pro Bowl running back, who has 2 years left on his current deal, says he may hold out if he doesn't get a new contract. Portis ran for nearly 1,600 yards last season, even though he missed 3 games to injury, and is quick to point out that there are special teamers on the Broncos making more than he did last year. Boys, buy or sell Portis holding out for more money. Woody, that's your boy.
First of all, seriously, I want to apologize to Jay. He's not going to hell. He's already in Chicago. Of course I'm buying this. A running back, as I said, has a short life. They've already set the precedent. They renegotiated Terrell Davis's contract. They've got to do it for Clinton Portis.
All right. Cowlishaw?
You have to sell this with 2 years to go. Nobody does a better job of replacing running backs than Denver. Look what happened when Portis missed the Indianapolis game. Quentin Griffin ran wild. He's got no leverage.
Mariotti.
No, I'm buying. You have to keep this guy happy. 1,600 yards, the fastest running back in the National Football League. Pat Bowen is a great owner, and I think even though they're $5 million over the cap, he'll get it done.
Holley?
I'm selling this. You mentioned Pat Bowen, Mariotti. I got a different name for you. Drew Rosenhaus, the agent who should have negotiated some incentives into Portis' contract. He's 22 years old. He should have a better contract than this. But, hey, that's too bad.
He was a late second-round pick. Yep, absolutely, Woody. Late second-round pick. This doesn't do anything for me. Anybody you put in that Denver lineup, Olandis, Gary, Mike Anderson, Portis, 1,500 yards a year. You signed the contract, stick to it, Clinton. Moving on. The Steve Francis-Jeff Van Gundy feud continues to escalate. Remember, the star guard missed the team flight and then met with the coach to discuss it. Well, now they're disagreeing over the discussion. Francis said they talked over breakfast. Van Gundy denies it was a breakfast. That's the most important meal of the day. In today's Houston Chronicle, Fran Blindberry thinks Francis is on the market. The NBA trading deadline looms just 2 weeks from today, and for the first time since Francis's heralded arrival as the chosen one to take the torch from Hakeem Olajuwon and carry the franchise forward, that trading him must be a consideration. Boys, buy or sell the Rockets dealing Francis Cowlishaw?
I'm selling this. You know, the guy's too good a player. What they need to do, and Fran wrote about this too, they've got him playing out of position. They should take a page from Allen Iverson's book, move him to the 2 guard, and get a true point guard to run the show.
Mariotti?
No, I'm selling. I mean, these trades all sound great, but who are you gonna get for him? I mean, it's not easy to make a deal like that in the NBA. This is his first real problem in 5 years. A very popular guy in Houston. Their bigger issue is Yao Ming right now.
Holley?
Selling.
Mariotti, you're absolutely right. You're not going to hell. Yeah, I'm going to sell this. Steve Francis has never had any kind of problems before. What's the problem now?
Paige?
I agree. Jay is absolutely right, and I'm not trying to suck up, but the problem is Yao Ming. Have you looked at him lately? The last 5 games, they've lost 4 of them. Ming, Ryan's boy, has just gone south. He's not even shooting 50%. That's the problem, not Francis.
Francis is only shooting 39%, though, the worst of his career. And I don't think...
But he's not 7'5".
Well, okay, I'll give you... I don't forget it. I don't care. He's not shooting well this year. He's not having his best year. And I don't think Jeff Van Gundy is too happy with his team right now. Eddie Griffin over here. Yao Ming, not really a mean guy, which is what Van Gundy... Let's move on. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports that the Cardinals have restructured several existing contracts, including Jim Edmonds and Jason Isringhausen, all to free up money to make a run at Greg Maddux. The Cards, of course, are going to wind up paying through the nose for arbitration-eligible Albert Pujols, but they got to do something to keep pace with the Cubs and Astros, right? So do you buy or sell the St. Louis Cardinals' chances in the NL Central if they land Greg Maddux, Mariotti?
Well, I'm buying. Right now, they're the 3rd-place team clearly in the Central. If you sign Maddux, you keep him away from the Cubs, you're even with the Cubs, and you give yourself a better shot against Houston. I'm buying.
Holley?
No chance. You got to sell that. The Astros have one of the best rotations in baseball. The top 3, Oswalt, Pettit, Clemens. The Cardinals have too many holes. They can't deal with that, and Maddux is not going to help.
Woody Paige?
Oh, I'm buying this. The Cardinals have imposed a salary cap on themselves. Why? This is a club that draws $3 million. It's the biggest thing in the Midwest. Why in the world? Bigger than the Cubs? Of course, he adds to that.
What are you,
That's
crazy?
not even close, though. Go ahead, Cowlishaw.
Now, with that last answer, Mariotti fell back into limbo. The Cardinals just don't have enough pitching. This isn't Greg Maddux of 5 years ago. They got Woody Williams, Matt Morris. They can't compete with the Cubs and Astros.
And if you think their starting rotations, look at their bullpen, the worst in the league. It's like being married to the ugliest woman in the planet. You got to wake up to her every day.
You would know.
Moving on. What is that? Cowlishaw, heavyweight champ Lennox Lewis will have a news conference on Friday, and the speculation is that the 38-year-old might hang it up. Lewis, of course, dominated a lifeless heavyweight division for the better part of a decade, losing only to Oliver McCall and Asim Rahman. And then he beat them both in later rematches. Remember that? So do you buy or sell the career of Lennox Lewis as better than the career of Mike Tyson, Holley?
I'm going to buy it, and it's a sad story for Tyson. He peaked at 22. Lewis had 18 championship fights. He lost 2, and he avenged those 2 losses. A great champion.
Okay, Woody?
I'm selling this. Mike Tyson, in his day, was among the top 4 or 5 heavyweights of all time. Lennox Lewis will be forgotten very quickly.
What do you say, Cowlishaw?
I'm selling. Lennox Lewis didn't have the charisma. He never really caught on. Mike Tyson, as a young heavyweight, Woody's exactly right, beats him out.
Mariotti?
No, I'm selling. Boxing is about show business. I mean, as accomplished as Lewis is, I mean, come on, he's boring. Mike Tyson hasn't had a meaningful title since '96. I don't care. I'm selling.
Absolutely. Lennox Lewis beat everyone that he fought. That's all you need to say about him. He lost the fight, he rematched, and he beat the guy. That speaks plenty about what he is as a heavyweight champ. Tyson, lightning in a bottle, that was it. Time to say goodbye to one of our heavyweights. It looks like it's Tim Cowlishaw.
Do I need to come to Washington to show you how to work those buttons?
Please, Tim. I'm sorry. Out of bounds is next.
Coming up, which NBA superstar would you want right now? The kid with the Hummer or the original Diesel? Plus, who'll come out on top when Duke and Carolina lace them up and go another round? The Horn! I hate both teams. It's around the horn, where after 2 rounds, here's how they stand. Jay Mariotti has 20. Mr. Michael Holley has 22. Father Woody Paige has 22. And Tim Cowlishaw is way under the hood of Ricky Rudd. Right now, it's out of bounds.
Out of bounds, where it's all in bounds. Let's see what we got. Leading off. ESPN announced that it will not renew Playmakers, the controversial series about a fictional football team. Its 11 episodes drew excellent ratings. You could look that up. But the NFL was extremely unhappy with the show's depiction of drug use, homophobia, wife-beating, and evil exploitative owners. ESPN acknowledged that the NFL's displeasure with Playmakers was among the primary reasons for the cancellation. So, guys, what's your reaction to ESPN's decision on Playmakers, Jay Mariotti?
The NFL is so anal, Tony, when you think about it. Yeah, anal, they are, because rather than put pressure on a network that does, in the big picture, a real good job with the National Football League on Sundays and Mondays throughout the week, instead, they're picking on the network instead of cleaning up their own act. Everything that happens in Playmakers happens in the National Football League. But so they're going to go after a fictional account instead of going after the real thing. Typical NFL.
Hey, Jay, the key is fictional account. The NFL needs to have a little more imagination. It was a dramatic series, and I didn't take it seriously. I remember one episode, halftime went on for 30 or 35 minutes. This guy is changing uniforms. He's picking up dates.
Maybe it was the Super Bowl.
This is not something you have to think about. But if you really wanted to cancel the series, you could have said episodic television is too expensive, and that's why you cancel it, because that's true.
Okay, Woody.
I have contacted the highest authorities on this matter, and I've got to tell you, I think both sides were right. I have a close relationship with them, and I've talked about this with the NFL and with ESPN, and I'm telling you what, the NFL has a right to question when its associates like ESPN. ESPN is involved with, in bed with.
You want the Denver?
Hold on a second, boys. Let me finish. Go ahead, Woody, finish.
I think ESPN has the right to cancel the show because it wants to keep a good relationship with the NFL.
Mariotti, go.
Do you want the Denver Broncos questioning what you do? Do you want anybody questioning Woody Paige what you do? Even if your paper had some sort of financial relationship?
I don't want the same thing
Okay, go ahead. Oh, easy on that. Go ahead,
Woody
Holley.
is sucking up to the bosses. He doesn't believe this. He's sucking up to the bosses because he wants to keep his status.
You know, you guys, hold on a second. You guys, you can make a case that the NFL is the most important television entity. Where was Fox without the NFL? It brought CBS back. Where's NBC right now? Plus, look at the ratings of the Super Bowl. More people watched the Super Bowl this year than any year. Playmakers didn't kill the NFL this year.
You know what you're talking about.
More points for Mariotti. Hold on a second. Moving on. The Pebble Beach Pro-Am is underway on the Monterey Peninsula with most of the world's top players sitting out. What they're missing, of course, look at this. One of the most picturesque tracks on earth. And what TV audiences are getting, by the way, in this middle of the cold, wet winter is weather porn. Look at the warmth. Guys, if you could play any course in the whole wide world, without green space, by the way, what course would it be, Woody?
Well, I have played every course in the whole wide world. I've played Augusta, Pebble Beach, St. Andrews. When it comes down to it, it's location, location, location. Mauna Kea and McKenna in Hawaii. I get to wear a Hawaiian shirt just like those guys at the Pro Bowl.
I don't even want to picture you in a Hawaiian shirt. Go ahead.
Location in golf is Pebble Beach. You take the 17-mile road in, and then there's the ocean and the rocks. It's beautiful. You melt away from the world.
Melt away from the world? I like that. Another point here. Okay, let's see it, Holley.
No, you got to make a political statement. I would go to Augusta. I have my locks down. I have my Bob Marley T-shirt on, droopy jeans, my Timberlands. I go up to Hootie. I'd be like, what? And you know what? I make sure I have some women with me, too, to really upset them.
Hootie would throw your butt out of it.
Finish up, Paige. You got last words? Save yourself.
As long as it's not that goat track that Mariotti calls the golf course.
That was not a goat track.
Woody, Paige, you had your chance. You blew it. You're out of here. Showdown is next.
Coming up, of course men are dogs, but could you blame a guy for being a Jessica Alba hound? With a whore!
It's showdown time, but first, disembodied voice.
Yes, Tony.
Tell us about the time you were on Playmakers.
Well, I had a non-speaking role, so you couldn't really see me.
Sure.
Kobe Bryant will fly to Philadelphia, his beloved hometown, just to sit the bench for the Lakers tonight against the Sixers. And MRIs on Tracy McGrady's back are back. They're negative. Good news for Orlando.
All right, leading off. On Wednesday, Ravens coach Brian Billick named Kyle Boller as starting quarterback for next season. Boller went 5-4 as a starter last year with 7 TDs and 9 picks. While third stringer Anthony Wright went 5-3 as a starter, helped the Ravens to their first division title. Boys, who should start next year for the Ravens, Boller or Wright? Holley, 15 seconds, go.
This is going to surprise you, but I'm going to go with Anthony Wright. This is not a developmental league. This is a win-now league. And Boller's still too young. You saw him last year. He's not ready to be a starting quarterback in the league. Wright plays the way they want him to. He plays to the defense and lets Ray Lewis and Ed Reed take over.
What, Anthony Wright is ready to be a starter? That last playoff game, Michael, I didn't see a starter in the National Football League. Look, Billick may be an egomaniac, but he knows how to groom quarterbacks. He took this kid in the first round. You've got to get this kid playing. Young quarterbacks play in today's NFL.
I'm waiting for Billick to groom quarterbacks as a coach, as a head coach, and he hasn't done it yet. I'm going with Anthony Wright here. They scored more points with Wright than they did when they had Boller last year, right?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Let's get out of here. Move on. The king of bling, Shaquille O'Neal, introduced himself to LeBron James last night in Cleveland with the season-high 37 points, and the Lakers win over the Cavs. LeBron was good, but his attempt to finish the Lakers came up just a few inches short. If you were an NBA owner right now, all things considered, who would you rather have, Shaq or LeBron? 15 seconds, Mariotti,
Well,
go.
the average life expectancy in America is about 71 today. I don't want to wait that long for LeBron. Maybe he'll win in 8 or 9 or 10 years, Tony, and maybe you can wait, young guy. But me, I won't want to win now. The big guy is still Shaq. He can come right in, dominate immediately.
Why are you talking about life expectancy in 8 or 9 or 10 years?
Because I'm going to hell, that's why.
Your boy Michael Jeffrey Jordan didn't even take 8 years to win. LeBron is younger. He's more marketable. His team is already better right now. He doesn't have a lot of help. You got to go with LeBron, the guy on the rise.
His team is better, but they're not in the playoffs. So Shaq's always going to give you a chance to win the NBA championship no matter what team he's on. Mariotti, you get the point. Let's move on. The best rivalry in college hoops heats up tonight as #1 Duke visits #19 UNC. The Blue Devils have won 12 of the last 14 meetings with the Tar Heels, including 4 or 5 at the Dean Dome. Who are you picking tonight, Duke or UNC? 30 seconds for the game. Holley, go.
Go with the Carolina Blue. You know Roy Williams is going to have these guys ready tonight. They don't play well on the road, but you get them at home playing a fast-breaking style, they can't be stopped. Look, UConn came in there. They were the #1 team in the country, and Carolina ran them out of the building.
Holley, I have been with Duke since October. I've been picking Duke. Every time we have a question, I'm going to pick them tonight. Lowell Deng is developing. Sheldon Williams, big presence in the middle. J.J. Redick on the outside. I mean, come on, they have all the pieces here, and Carolina doesn't have enough depth to be good.
Not a good year to be #1. Upsets all over the place. Holley, that's all she wrote. You're the winner. 15 seconds, go.
You know, it's tough right now to root for the Boston Celtics as a team, but it's not difficult to root for Ben Baker. He is struggling with alcoholism, and he's trying to come back to the Celtics. His agent thinks he may be ready as soon as tomorrow. Root for Ben Baker so we can get past this awful, awful disease.
Wish him the best. That's going to do it, folks. We're on a 23.5-hour break. See you Friday. Around the Horn.
I'm going to church right now.
You better.
Around the Horn is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For up-to-the-minute sports information, log on to ESPN.com.
You think church is enough?